Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Oh, my eyes!
Welcome to episode 24 of Schlock Talk. Genuinely curious about how they stuffed all that 80s pubic hair into those 80s leotards since 2013. I'm Gabe.
I'm Craig.
Paul.
It's Joel.
Alan.
So tonight's movie is 1989's Death Spa, directed by Michael Fisher, and it's available on DVD, Blu-ray combo pack from MPI Home Video.
Don't buy it.
But I want it on Laserdisc.
Don't buy it. I would like to preface this with we watched this movie 2 months ago, and none of us remember a fucking thing about it except for Gabe and his notes. So if we suck, blame Gabe and his notes.
Yes.
It's
Gabe's
only
fault.
fair.
If we do a bad job describing it, you could always see it in its stage production format, directed by Gabe.
Yes.
Starring Daniel Radcliffe.
That guy will do anything.
All right. Is Death Spa a good movie
No.
in any objective sense?
No.
Absolutely not.
Is that a fucking real question, Gabe?
Based on almost any reasonably acceptable criteria, the film is a cinematic calamity filled with nonsensical plot devices, inane dialogue, and an overrepresentation of late 80s fashion gaffes that relentlessly blast viewers in the eyes like a neon, stonewashed money shot from Peter North. As far as bad movies go, Death Spa...
Neon and Stonewash. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
As far as bad movies go, Death Spa barely even tries to be coherent, at least based on the fact that the titular health club's computer seems to have control of not only the lighting, thermostat, and cameras, but also bathroom tile grout and a frozen fish.
And it has tits, too, as being the titular item.
No, this movie stinks like a monokini workout thong jammed for weeks on end up the ass of a mall-haired skank with a scorching case of herpes and an untreated yeast infection, and I, for one, love it. You see, I was a horny teen of six...
This is not Jimmy Buffett's Cheeseburger in Paradise.
You see, I was a horny teen of
This is a spicy taco in hell.
16 years old when Death Spa came out, and although I never saw the movie until a couple of weeks ago, it is all the things I would have loved back then when jerking off 9 times in a day was always well within the realm of possibility.
Not much has changed, huh, Gabe?
That was just the before lunch jerking off, so it that way.
A bevy of bodacious, beautiful babes guaranteed to make you feel funny in your bathing suit area?
Guaranteed.
Check. Heads exploding into splattery chunks of what appears to be raspberry yogurt? Naturally.
Wait, is this part of what turns you on? Is this your checklist?
Hold
This is
on.
what he masturbated
I
to.
didn't expect you to read your fucking diary from the high school age.
What do you use for lube? Gabe obviously uses raspberry jelly.
Yes. A giant dong wall decoration next to the door in the hero's condominium, which is never explained or referred to by any of the characters, of course.
You said condom and dong in the same sentence.
All this needed adornment hanging off what is essentially a movie about a bunch of hot chicks fighting over a guy who's a combination of Larry from Three's Company and the bad guy from Roadhouse who gets his throat ripped out by Patrick Swayze.
You know what? Larry from Three's Company was always underrated.
The worst part of the movie, it took me exactly 38 minutes to realize there were not any fantasy creatures in tonight's movie, and the reason no one had been killed by any trees yet was because we were watching Death Spa, not Death Sap.
Why is that even funny? Why do you laugh to encourage that kind of blatant stupidity out of Death Sap?
I also thought about saying...
Sap? Why the fuck would you laugh at that? I don't mean to Apologize
Have you not
to me
seen
right
Evil
now!
Dead? Have you not seen Evil Dead?
I don't
You know,
care. It's
now
I
that-
also thought about saying it took me exactly 38 minutes to realize the reason I hadn't seen the giant snake was not because we were watching Death Spa, not Death Asp.
I hate you, Gabe.
Wow, what are you, dyslexic?
Oh my god.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, but Craig has
Oh
a
my
point,
God.
though. I mean, like, it's almost like Craig is wishing for you to be born with a retarded paraplegic son tomorrow. And for us to all be there while he's, like, 9 years old in the mall, fucking jerking off his dick at his fucking scooter and fucking trying to wipe it off on the patrons. I'm like, good job! Good job!
So, tonight's movie.
The kind of kid that would get a Segway with a dick hole in the front of it just so he could hump it for power. I don't know.
Oh, shit. It's like instead of a hamster wheel.
It's obviously designed by the Mr. Garrison Steve Jobs of Segway.
So, tonight's...
Death Asp. No, come on. Apologize.
Is there another
Absolutely
combination?
not.
Apologize to the people for Death Sap segueing into Death Asp as if it was funny.
It was funny.
What about Death Pause?
Fuck you, that's
Fucked
comedy
up that last
platinum.
one.
Oh, Death Pause would be
Yeah.
like death, like
Menopause?
No, I was thinking like the company that makes the Easter egg
That's what I was
dying
thinking, too.
kits.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Okay. Anyway, so the movie
You
starts
said
out
dying.
dying.
Yeah.
Easter has never been this deadly since
So-
Jesus.
The movie starts out, right? And I think it's like, basically we're like looking at, what does it say, like relaxation spa or some shit like that? Or, yeah, it's like it's the neon
letters
sign.
Oh no, it
for
says
Death
it's
Spa.
the Star Body Health Spa.
Star Body Health Spa, and like, okay, so in a, like a very fucking creative fucking directorial way, a lightning strikes, and then all of a sudden those particular neon letters go out, so such that it spells Death Spa as it zooms in towards the front entrance.
Yep. And so a couple of ladies are they lock up the spa, and one of the girls, Laura, stays behind to flash dance by herself, but she's stalked by someone who it turns out is Ken Faree from the original Dawn of the Dead and Lords of Salem, playing the movie's black guy named Marvin.
But there's like this amazing scene where he's like walking through this gym, which is clearly fucking after hours. I don't know whoever. Has anyone ever seen people working out at a 24-hour fitness at 2 fucking a.m. in the morning?
I have
What?
never been inside.
You're asking the wrong people.
I mean, obviously this is a movie that sort of caters to the gym phobes of America, or basically Craig and Gabe.
Yes.
But seriously,
Gymophobes.
Get it off me! It's sweaty. It makes me feel.
but
Like,
like,
we know that the gym makes you feel sweats like a Vietnam vet feels PTSD whenever somebody stares too close to him by the fucking cashier.
just
Hey man, I
looking at
tried, but when I showed up in spandex, they kicked me the fuck out.
just looking at dumbbells makes the two of these guys fucking sweat
Oh my
and
god.
breathe heavy. But like,
We have to look at Paul all the time. And speaking of dumbbells, he makes me sweat all the time.
Okay, I'm definitely not
It's a cold
apologizing
sweat.
for Death Sap.
but seriously, we get a look inside this spa, which is just a fucking atrocity. It just looked like fucking Colors fucking gang raped a fucking rainbow
Yep.
inside this fucking spa. And while fucking meathead Muscle Brains is walking through the fucking gym, we see some amazing machines. Like, apparently there's like a latissimus dorsi pull down machine that comes straight out of the fucking wall.
Craig and I are both looking at each other.
Door
What are the
side.
who?
Okay,
Is
so
it got
like
the pulley bar that you go up and down with? Or?
imagine like you guys are like hanging on to your boyfriends and you're pulling their ass down on your face.
I'm imagining it right
Yeah.
now.
That's what
Get
it
your
is.
hand off
You're getting
me.
a good shoulder back workout, but this thing comes like straight out of the fucking wall, like a mystery fucking machine. Like, who's on the other end? Is it like a bunch of fucking
Wait.
gnomes?
Isn't the mystery machine like what Scooby Doo rides in? I'm confused.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
a minibus inside of a. I don't know what's going on.
So we find out that the good body, the Star Body Health Spa, is entirely run by a computer. That's
Because-
important.
Because
You need
80s.
to have a computer to
Because-
run.
yes, because
a workout
1989.
place.
And so Laura, the girl who's been flash dancing, she takes a steam bath naked, which I appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
And the movie seems to indicate that she's going to start pawing at herself, but she starts to realize that there's too much steam coming into the room, and when she tries to leave, the door is locked, and she breaks the window to the steam room door and passes out. And then the scene switches to a guy, Mike, who's sleeping on a couch, and he's dreaming about a beekeeper on fire, and then is woken up by his phone ringing and quickly heads to the hospital.
It's happened again. Damn it, this is the last time, Mr. President.
He tells the nurse at the hospital that he works at the spa, which we all know is the next legal representative they would ask for after next of kin and legal guardian.
Right, the spa.
And the nurse tells him that Laura was admitted to the hospital.
I'll just put entrepreneur for occupation.
She was admitted to the hospital with chlorine burns. And the next day at the spa, we meet Marvin again, and we see that he does not spot people who are working out with the free weights. And there's a scene where a guy's like, the dorky guy, I'm going to just say it, the Jewish guy.
Guy, oh God.
is working out, and he is not spotting him.
He's trying to get his body as in great shape as his wallet. Hey, ladies.
Watch out. To show off to the one chick.
Triple threat.
Well.
He's all like, Fliegen!
Freund-Leben.
We also see that there are cameras all over the gym, and the staff who work at the spa like to watch all the ladies work out in the security room, which is like the computer room.
So is that like a perk of the job then, I guess?
I guess so,
it's
yeah.
Like a very sticky room.
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly. Bring your own towel.
And so a couple of police detectives come to the spa, and they question everyone about Laura almost being dissolved in the sauna. And they go to the computer room, and there's a whole room for the computer gadgetry, and confront the tech guy who runs the whole thing, and his name is David. So Laura, we're following the characters. There's Laura, the girl who got burned, Mike, who's her boyfriend, and then David, who runs the computers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some exotic names.
Granted,
Yes.
the computer room looks like fucking NORAD fucking 4 or some shit like that.
I was waiting for it to go, do you want to play a game?
Well, all
Hard
this is,
abs.
What are you doing?
while all this is happening, the computer makes
Thermonuclear
the
abs.
makes the bolts on the diving board come loose.
That's right, yeah.
And this causes one of the ladies who works at the spa, Darla, character number 4, to fall into the water.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she
you know,
fell into the water?
The fucking embarrassment she felt, she might have well been on fucking fire.
So who's going to explain to me, in the 80s, how do you wire a computer to unscrew bolts on a diving board?
It's the fucking 80s. Computers were like fucking gods. Like, a fucking computer could fucking, like, I don't know, change your
You
religion
could
or some
fucking
shit.
do fucking stuff while fucking on the fucking door.
Fuck
yeah.
Fucking around.
Computers could deliver you the wrong Girl Scout cookies, or the wrong Girl Scout in your case, Craig.
Yes, Girl Scouts. That's what we're looking for.
And so this whole scene with the diving board is all shot in very tense and serious manner. But she was going to jump in the water anyway, so I don't see what the big deal was. Anyway,
She got wet.
Mike and the cops all go back to the computer room and confront David again, and we find out through some excessively confusing exposition that David is the twin sister of Mike's dead wife, Catherine, character number 5.
David is a twin sister?
Twin brother
Twin
I'm
brother,
sorry.
yeah, that's right.
of Catherine, who's character number 5.
Yes, the dead wife of the guy who
Who
runs
didn't
the
have a
spa,
scene in this movie in the beginning?
who-
She's
Well,
the lady
did.
that
She
was on
the
fire.
beekeeper.
Oh, that's
She
right.
was the beekeeper on fire.
That's right.
A while later, we see another of Mike's dreams. Mike is the guy who runs the spa and is dating Laura and used to be married to
The guy with the hair?
Catherine. One of the guys with the hair, yes.
You know, the 80s hair.
Yeah, it was an
The hair,
80s
metal
movie.
hair.
No one's bald.
Yeah. So Mike is having a dream, and he sees a burning wheelchair in his dream. And then this is followed up by a little bit
very
of
artsy.
homoerotic swimming back at the spa with Marvin. Also around this
You
time...
can't swim with Marvin
I guess
without being homoerotic.
You know what I just did? I skipped over one of the characters.
That's fine.
The only black character.
Yeah. Just keep on listing
Shame
off
on
right
you.
over it.
You
characters.
brought him up two times?
I know, but I didn't name him as a character.
Oh,
He has a name. You know, he's a fucking person. As much as fucking Craig wants to high five you for fucking keeping that on the DL, he's a fucking person. He's got a story, a background, and shit like that. He probably has dreams. You know what those are, right? He's like, one of these days, I'm gonna fucking get out of this fucking shitty movie business.
I'm gonna get a job at Burger King.
So also around this time, we find out that the lady at the juice bar
At
likes
the
to
what bar?
The juice bar. There's a juice bar in the spa.
Juice bar?
Juice bar.
Juice bar. No, it's more like a smoothie bar.
It's a
She's
smoothie
like,
bar.
Why don't I fucking throw your protein powder, your bananas, and I don't know, some of this
In a blender.
hydrogenated oil
In a blender that apparently needs no power to run it.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It wasn't like a blender. Like it was like built into the fucking countertop, wasn't it, or some shit?
No, because she could like hold it and it was still running.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's
a battery powered blender.
It's fucking gym culture, like for crying out loud.
But
everything's a fucking like Apple version of the fucking gym in this fucking gym.
She likes to pretend that her hand is being chopped up in the blender, and I am positive that this will not come up again in the movie.
This is obviously not her cursor.
No.
I can never see this prank fucking backfiring on her. But then she also, after putting her fucking filthy feces encrusted hand inside said blender, would serve smoothie to said customer.
Why was her
for
hand
said post recovery workout?
There's
You know
a
what?
part of her in every smoothie that she gives out. It's precious.
Well, she gives a lot of hand jobs, so she adds the protein.
Oh.
You want a booster?
What's this one?
I can't give this shit away.
Man lather. That sounds interesting.
Milk of magnesia?
Baby batter?
It'll put hair on the hair on the hair on your chest.
So Mike is in his office doing important spa business, and for some reason he checks out the bookshelf where he has a bird's nest knickknack, and in the knickknack is a fetus.
You act like that's unusual.
And he confronts David, the third David confrontation in the movie so far. And we find out that David's sister had a baby and was pregnant when she set herself on fire.
Is it just me, or was Peter
she had a
Scolari the
baby
first
and
choice
was
for this
pregnant when
role?
she got set on
Well, she was
fire?
pregnant with a baby. How about that?
Oh, that works out better.
The movie has now gone several minutes without an overtly sexual scene, so several nubile, health-minded young women go to the showers and are quickly assaulted by the computer, causing the tiles to fly off the walls at them. Also,
Magnets, bitch.
Also, Hillary from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is in this movie.
Poor Hillary.
Yeah. This is quickly followed by a guy who gets into a Nautilus machine, and then this causes his ribs to split open and kill him.
No, this isn't even a Nautilus machine. This is like like you were saying earlier, the thing's built into the wall.
Yeah, it's like a fucking machine, and it's just coming out of the fucking wall. Like, what's on the other end? Is it like a bunch of fucking like gnomes all just fucking hanging off of it and everything like that?
You know, the one thing I can say about this movie is it fully justifies my reasons for not going to the gym.
No, like I said, it definitely like makes you guys even more terrified about like getting into shape or anything fucking like not dying at age fucking 40 related.
And I would just like to point out that this is a scene in a movie that had an actual cast and crew, was written by a person and or people, and had to be properly lit and shot by someone who probably went to school for a very long time to learn how to run a very complex camera. Anyway.
So they should know that by moving your arms this way,
it won't cause your ribs to explode.
You would think.
Yeah. So Mike brings Laura back from the hospital and proceeds to stick asparagus in her mouth. And this is not a metaphor. There is a scene where he's like poking her in the mouth with asparagus.
She's like burn victim. She's got bandages all over her shit.
You guys excuse me?
Yeah.
Asparagus.
Put your asparagus back in its fucking container.
Meanwhile, back at the gym,
Why is it actually green? Shit.
Man.
The computer makes the locker doors in the women's room open and close, and also makes an arrow, a totally normal, run-of-the-mill health spa locker room arrow, like we've all seen 1,000 times before.
I remember this.
Shoot into the neck, into a woman's neck, Kevin Bacon style in the Friday the 13th.
How do you hang up your panties?
On my dick.
Well, true. That's true. On my gym locker arrow.
Trina, why do you carry an arrow around with you everywhere? Because you never fucking know. I saw Savage Streets, and all of a sudden I just got turned on to fucking this shit.
Why are you hanging your panties anywhere? You're supposed to tie it around her neck.
That's the only thing Alan's going to say for the whole episode.
I don't remember a fucking thing about this, so I'm just going to come in with an occasional terrible thing to say.
But yes, I remember the locker room opening and shooting said fucking arrow. Completely fucking normal, fucking gym fucking related.
So Mike and Laura stop by the gym, and like Joel said, Laura has bandages on her eyes. And so she goes
Elephant
down
Man
and
style.
gets some stuff out of her locker, and the dead girl is inside, but Laura's still bandaged up, so she can't see her. And while this is happening...
Or
mummy.
smell the fact that she has blood splattered everywhere and is decomposing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While this is happening, Darla tries to scare Mike in his office wearing a ghoul mask, and he catches her. And
What
so
a dick.
Darla?
Yeah.
Darla is a dick. So back home with Laura, Mike has a flashback to a time some chick in a wheelchair set herself on fire, and I felt like this seemed like an important part of the plot.
Was that his wife?
I think so.
She's the only one we know of who committed suicide, so I'm assuming so.
Mike decides to...
Hey, what does this have to do with a fetus in a nest?
I don't know.
Well, apparently he had a keepsake of the baby that was aborted through his wife's suicide.
Did he have it shellacked?
I feel like they would have
Maybe
just
shellacked.
buried the whole...
Dipped in bronze. Put on a plaque. World's greatest fucking dad.
It was one of those little cards in like the Parents magazine. Bronze baby boots, and he just crossed out the words boots. Sent in the fetus.
So he has this other dream or flashback about Catherine setting herself on fire in the wheelchair, and he decides to address this by seeing a paranormal investigator, who I know has to be phony because he doesn't have a faux hawk, is not roided out, and does not wear Ed Hardy t-shirts.
I keep having bad dreams about this horrible traumatic time that I had watching my wife in the wheelchair burning herself to death. I need to see a paranormal fucking specialist. Not a psychiatrist.
So
That would be crazy.
we find out that Mike's wife Catherine was crippled in childbirth, which is apparently a thing, and that she lost the baby.
Wait, this guy had a fetish for women in wheelchairs?
I think
what would
he
you
was
call
banging
that?
her before she was in a wheelchair. I think it's just a sad act.
Wait, so it was a
Baby-
birth defect, you said, right?
No, she was crippled in childbirth.
What happened
Oh,
to the baby?
while giving birth to
baby
a child.
It ended up in a
perforated her
nest?
It ended up
broke her
on
leg.
his bookshelf. Yeah.
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 Well, it's good because it keeps his books from tipping over and shit like that. I mean, like,
It's
it
just
had
too bad.
some use.
It's too bad he didn't have twins, so he'd use them as bookends. That's the real sad part.
Yeah.
So the investigator, whose name is Lido Moray, tells Mike that the reason she lit herself on fire and killed herself was because she hated his family. And also,
That's a very fucking awesome way to show you that you hate your in-laws' family.
Yeah.
killing yourself.
I want to scream at their face and call them cunts and say, God, they're such fucking white trash. No, burn my fucking self in front of them.
I think I'll
don't
wheel
know,
myself in my wheelchair to the top of a hill, douse myself in gasoline, and light myself on fire.
That'll show them.
It's like the way those fucking like monks do it, isn't it? When they protest
Immolation
people?
or whatever,
So
yeah.
Immolate themselves.
So the scene
Spiritual.
The scene then switches to David's apartment. David is the computer guy at the spa, where someone is talking to him about how people are weak, but David says he does not want to hurt anyone else, and I felt like this seemed like a suspicious scene to me.
Anyone else?
No one has found the body of the girl in the locker yet, but one of the ladies gets a
Whatever
note
does.
saying to meet Mike in the basement. This seems ill-advised,
Did he
but
read
she
that?
goes anyway.
Did he get a note, or did he read that in the fucking shitter stall at the fucking public restroom?
No, it was the girl. It's the girl that gets melted with acid.
That's right.
Yeah. So when the girl
Spoiler.
goes in, spoiler, which is like a minute later in the movie. We really fucking spoiled it.
Damn it all. We ruined it for you guys. Sorry.
When the girl,
And I know everybody listening wanted to watch this.
Yeah,
I know.
You're all watching it right now as we fucking director commentate it.
And just so you know, we're already almost 20 minutes in. And that's more time than the people took to write this script.
I'm actually going to be amazed if anyone actually stayed tuned into this podcast long enough to get to this point anyway.
After the death sap joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I killed
totally.
it all.
What the fuck is wrong with that Gabe guy?
Seriously, that's like a really ripped guy pulling
You mean
out a
Craig?
fucking teeny tiny penis.
Not only that, but he fucking says he'll be here at one time and then shows up
Oh
like
my
an hour
God.
late every single fucking time.
Hey, at least he's dependable.
Jesus God.
Oh, it's Pile Game time.
So when the girl goes down into the basement, Paul and Alan, it is very obviously the dark, steamy industrial area where Dream Freddy hangs out. And the sprinklers turn on. The girl starts getting soaked, but then begins to spray acid, and she slowly dissolves.
Worst wet t-shirt contest.
Yes. At this time, David goes to Mike's place while Laura is the only one there, and he tells her that he has come by to fix the computer in Mike's apartment. And he gives Laura some shit about how she moved in with Mike right after his twin sister died. And Laura tells David that his sister Catherine was mean to her, but that she liked her anyway. And David seems as though he intends to kill Laura, but in the next scene, Mike comes home, and she is fine, and David is gone. And so back at the gym, some people are working on the electrical system, and Lito Moray uses some of his paranormal... I don't know why I wrote that. It's been 6 weeks since we watched this movie, but I said Lito Moray uses some of his paranormal dildos to check the spa for evil spirits. I don't know what that's a reference to.
Hey, what were you doing when you wrote this?
If anybody knows about paranormal dildos,
yes.
Gabe.
Also, that sounds like a badass punk band.
He also goes into the basement because he accidentally got his paranormal dildos mixed up with his acid bath victim dildos again.
I just keep picturing Gabe with like a dildo shaped like E.T. with his finger poking out and glowing. I don't know why.
I'll be right here.
Oh no.
Because he finds the mostly dissolved lady and she's still alive. Lito is then confronted by Catherine's ghost and she throws him into the air, which causes him to hit the ceiling, which is about 30 feet high. And when he comes down, he points a pistol at her, but she causes his hand to explode. And then she throws him onto a conveyor belt, and this kills him.
A gym with a conveyor belt.
Yes. In a 30-foot tall basement. Mike has a dream that Catherine causes him to jump from the balcony of his apartment to his death, and he wakes up in a cold sweat. And then he goes to his lawyer's house and talks with the lawyer's girlfriend, who's Darla, I think, who works at the spa, the girl who almost got killed on the... Yeah, anyway.
I take your word for it.
Yeah.
It turns out that the lawyer and Darla are sabotaging things at the gym, so Mike will sell them the gym and they can take over. And this is what is known as an unnecessary subplot. While this is happening, David is in his apartment and appears to be having a conversation with himself.
That's
and he has a split personality, and his dead sister is the other part of his brain.
Who didn't see that coming?
Oh, no.
Me.
Because this movie's shit.
Alan didn't see it coming because he was asleep.
No, I don't think I slept at all for Death Spa.
You just don't remember.
I don't remember shit, though.
I just remember, like, not being able to
Alan,
focus
I
past
envy
the
you.
absurdity.
No, I remember little bits and pieces. Like, I remember the tiles flinging off the walls and thinking that was just bullshit.
Well, it's just hard when you have a collective fucking group of fucking stupid people who are gonna have this fucking late night fucking party at a spa, which is like a fucking shitty gym, right?
Spoiler alert, we haven't gotten there yet.
But still, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't care about any of these fucking people.
So, while this is all happening, David is in his... Oh, we said that. David has a split personality conversation with himself, and then Mike goes to the spa, and he and Marvin turn off the computer so no one else can get hurt. And after doing this, Mike and the detectives go to David's place and break in, and they find out that David keeps Catherine's burned wheelchair on his back porch next to his very nice fern, but they do not find David himself. Mike then calls the club and tells the staff not to let anyone into the computer room. And
Not
so,
done downloading my porn.
Hey man, back in that day, it took a while. You know?
It did.
You had
Just
to watch
thinking
it
of
go,
thumbnail.
like, pixel by pixel to get down there.
It's going to be at least 12 more hours until that JPEG is
It's
downloaded.
fucking 8-bit porn, okay?
The problem was, I would always ejaculate by the time it got to the eyes, and it just never got down fast enough. It's sad.
It's gonna be good.
So right after this, Catherine appears in the computer room and turns all the computers back on with her mind, not her ghostly transluminescent hand, because that would be ridiculous.
I think you mean they.
Well, wasn't she also her brother, so she could
Yeah.
do it anyway?
I don't know.
I don't know. In some weird ass.
Can you use the right pronoun, please?
Movie Identity. in a weird ass movie like fucking Identity Fight Club way, wasn't it really fucking Mike that was fucking turning it on?
No,
Well,
David.
Dave, yeah.
David.
Was it David, or was it the computer possessing David with a ghost of his dead sister, or was it not? I don't know.
You don't have to get all fucking philosophical about it. I'm just saying.
I don't know what the
Yes,
fuck is going on.
Socrates.
I'm just saying, maybe David was a little special, and he dressed in his fucking sister's nightgown and fucking turned on the shit.
There's nothing wrong with dressing your sister's nightgown. I don't know why you guys gotta be hating.
So all this is happening, rather than do the logical thing and close down the gym until all this haunting hullabaloo is figured out, they do the
Did you
best.
say hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo.
They do the next
I'm
best
fucking
thing
older than you, and I don't use that word.
and throw a party. So Mike is in a Harlequin clown outfit.
Harlequin.
And yes, this douchey loser is the reason for all of this, and he's trying to figure out how to stop anyone else from being horribly mutilated and failing miserably. And despite being blind, Laura has made her way to the gym for some reason, and she is captured by Catherine, who proceeds to rub a weird sword all over her body, and then ties her up and puts her into a tanning booth, and then turns it up to George Hamilton levels.
What a conundrum.
Also, the lawyer has snuck into Mike's office and knocks Mike out. And we find out a minute later, though, that this is actually the lawyer's girlfriend who is wearing the same costume as Mike. And to be fair, Mike has some pretty womanly hips, which makes it really hard to tell the two of them apart.
Wasn't it
I
like
like to go swimming with
wasn't it some
bow-legged women and
weird
swim
ass-
between their legs.
Wasn't it some weird ass Pagliacci costume or some shit like that?
It was some kind of clown outfit.
Yeah. I don't know. Artsy fucking costume parties at a gym. Oh,
So-
I'm sorry, I can't fucking get that.
So Mike wakes back up and he confronts Catherine back in the computer room, and she's setting fires with the computer and locking people up in rooms in the gym to kill them, and then she knocks Mike out again. And while this is happening, the lawyer makes out with a woman in the sauna, and this then causes his face to explode and drip brains all over the floor. Like, they're making out, and she's like, ah! And then his face just explodes, and there's like a piece of metal or something sticking out of it.
That happened to me once.
Oh, yeah, well.
Making
no.
out with a guy and his fucking face exploded?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can see that.
Paul was often early when he's in the shower with other guys. Sad but true.
We also learned that Catherine and David are two people in the same body, and that their consciousness
We
is
knew this like 20
trapped in
minutes
the
ago.
computer. Well, no, they actually show a woman in a nightgown rolling around on the floor,
And
and
then
then
it's
it turns
Mike
to
in a
David.
or David in a nightgown
Yeah,
with
and then it's
makeup
and
on,
he's
rolling
like,
on the floor.
Oh, I should say too, David is Captain Kirk's son from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Yes!
Same actor.
That's amazing. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Who would have thought Death Spa was a door opener for this fucking Who can you see as Captain Kirk's son? I don't know, the guy who thinks he's his fucking sister in Death Spa?
Rolls around on the floor.
That was a
Wait,
good scene.
he's very Shatner-esque.
Yes. And so while
David
David is
wouldn't show up his acting ability.
while David is writhing around on the floor, I have to say he does not look bad in a white cotton granny nightgown. And so Mike wakes back up again, and he goes to the tanning bed / salad bar sneeze guard and rescues Laura. And by this point, Catherine is on the rampage, and this causes the girl in the juice bar to finally get her hand frappéed in the blender, which I enjoy.
Yeah, that's right.
Never saw that coming.
How ironic.
Also, the male detective gets pulled into the walk-in refrigerator and is killed by a possessed frozen fish who eats his neck, and 3/4 of the movie crew went home that night and sat in the bathtub crying and holding a razor blade up to their wrists.
The fish?
I'm sorry,
No, the crew
God.
that had to shoot that scene.
That was the best scene in the movie.
I'm so sorry,
Why
God.
are they suicidal?
There's no coming back
Man
from
being
that.
killed by fish.
You know what? It's really hard to throw a frozen fish at somebody's neck.
Yeah.
It really is.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for adding that addition to our podcast.
And
Thankfully,
so
our listeners tuned out a half hour ago.
So the lawyer's girlfriend is woken up by now, and with all the chaos going all around her, she stops to check herself out in the mirror, and then her head explodes, and her disembodied mouth is shown lying on the floor, and the rest of the crew put their lips around the barrel of a gun. So by this point, most of the
Spa 2, fuck you.
Most of the gym is on fire.
3, not with me.
By this point,
Spa 4,
oh my God,
you fucking whore. Death Spa 5, not while I'm alive.
Keep going.
Death Spa 6.
Gotta
all
get my-
sucks dicks. We'll end it there. Go, Gabe. Go.
Death Spa 7.
No, not that.
Fuck you.
I can't use heaven in the same sentence. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
So, by this point, most of the gym is on fire, and everyone is locked in, and those not perishing in the flames are being trampled to death. And Mike is able to sort out the computer, and this causes Catherine to catch on fire, the ghost of Catherine. And along with the female detective and Marvin, Mike and Laura find Catherine's body, and she grabs Mike, but the detective shoots her, and David/Catherine dies. And this causes her eyeball to explode and shoot out of her head. Freeze frame.
So comical.
Credits roll. That's the end of the movie.
They really set it up for a sequel.
They really did.
You know, it's funny. I like to work out and everything like that, but this movie like makes me fucking seriously hate gyms.
And frozen fish.
The fact that you could take something so mundane and make it fucking utterly unforgivably retarded and sad is just unforgivable.
This movie serves the dual purpose to me of making me hate gyms and making me hate Gabe.
It also makes me hate consciousness.
Fucking consciousness.
Can you imagine
Always
inventing?
get in the way.
Can you imagine inventing artificial intelligence as this is the first thing you expose it to?
Oh my god!
So
This is what made you. These are the people that made you.
Well, right after
That's how
Rudder.
Skynet is born.
Yeah. This is the prequel to Terminator.
Clearly, this species must die.
So, would you guys watch this movie again?
No.
No.
Okay.
Maybe the musical stage production. Yes, definitely.
Death Spa.
Only if done through interpretive dance.
Does anybody have any do's or don'ts? So any STDs? Schlock Talk's
STDs?
do's and don'ts?
Don't have herpes.
A don't
Do a
is this.
podcast 6 weeks after you watch a movie
Yeah.
because it will suck ass.
But that's why it
Words
gets
to
the
live
pace
by.
going.
No.
And don't watch Death
You
Spa.
sounded more bored than we did reading that analysis.
I don't know about that.
I do. I do know about that.
Hey,
It was
I'm gonna add this to my list of S&M things that I'm gonna watch while being stuck to a chair and being whipped.
That's
A
just
Don't-
bottomless chair. Like
don't
in,
let this movie
James Bond.
dismay you from trying to live a healthy lifestyle. Everyone in this movie was stupid, and clearly stupid people deserve bad shit to happen to them, even though it's fucking physically impossible. By every fucking law of the universe, they do deserve that.
I agree.
Amen, brother.
So at some point we'll
You're
do
preaching
the
to
other.
the choir.
You, the intelligent viewers who are strumming up forums trying to get us the professional help that we all need.
Look,
Work
guys,
out.
Hey, you know what? That Kickstarter? Don't bother.
there's only one way to properly end this podcast, and that is death sap.
Oh fuck me.
Okay, you can stop that one out. Save that one.